This young lady is going to win. It's going to be gold for Georgia Peel from Hansen Vectis. 4:21, a personal best earlier on this season, and here now a much quicker time, a massive personal best, 4:16.27. It's very nearly a British record. That is incredible running. The winning margin some 60 or 70 metres. The winning margin, of course, there's some 10 seconds, and it is a new championship record by some 8 seconds almost. Fabulous stuff from Georgia Peel.
Well, what a race that was. Two broke away from the pack so early on in the first 400 metres. In fact, those two dominated. We all wondered, everyone in the stadium wondered if they would pay a big price for that breakaway. Well, certainly Proctor did, but Georgia Peel has clinched not only victory here, but a new English schools championship record, and one that had stood since 1979, held by Louise Parker of Cumbria from all those years ago. A fantastic performance by the winner, Georgia Peel, the Hampshire Schools champion. Memorable.
Unfittingly in front of one Kelly Holmes too. There's a name to remember, Georgia Peel. Well,
Georgia, that was breathtaking. That was just an incredible performance.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt really good, and I was a bit nervous coming into it, but then, yeah, the first 2 laps were quite fast and just had to keep it going, so it's really good.
Now, the early pace was absolutely ferocious. Was that your game plan?
Well, my game plan was just to stick behind Lauren, really, because I thought she was going to go off fast, and then just to pick it up on the last lap, which I think I did quite well.
And the sum of your efforts has been a championship record by some 8 seconds. How does that make you feel?
Brilliant, yeah. Absolutely brilliant, yeah.
Georgia, stunning performance, well done.
Thank you very much, thanks.
It certainly was. Championship records, few and far between. They ought to be treasured, and I'm sure she will treasure that one. Back to Mick.
And we're going back to the long jump now. This happened earlier on today. These were the medal-winning performances. Ben Gregory, we can see this was his first attempt. So that was close to 7 metres. It was measured at 6 metres 94. So perfect on the board. Now these distances were down a little bit today. We were expecting a few more jumps over 7, but looking at the results, almost every jump was with a minus wind. You can see a -1 wind there. So that was the bronze medal performance. And this was the silver medal performance. This was a fantastic competitive effort. This happened in the last round. He'd been pushed out of the medals. And then Ben Gregory with his very last jump of the competition. Again, very close to the 7 metre board. Here's a 7 metre jumper, his personal best 7:05. And he sailed out in the last round to 6:97, so very close to his personal best, and a superb silver medal performance. And there you see it again, a minus wind of -0.5. I think we're going to see the champion, the West Yorkshire athlete Adam Timms, and again, first round effort. This was into a -1.5 wind. Personal best coming into this was 6:96, and this is a magnificent effort from Adam. Banged onto the board, superb technique, only got a couple of centimetres to spare. Superb technically, and like I said at the time, he took after his brother. He won the universities championship. Adam's just gone and won the schools championship, and there it is, magnificent new personal best for the gold medal, 7 metres 16. I think we're going to get confirmation. And there it is, we can see that magnificent personal best for Adam Timms taking the gold. Daniel Bramble from Middlesex with the silver 6:97, and Ben Gregory, that superb jump 6:94. Dwight Smith missing out with 6 metres 90 for 4th place, where nobody wants to finish.
Well, confirmation of the win in that 1500 metres by Georgia Peel. The performance of the day so far, surely a championship record by nearly 8 seconds, and that championship record was 30 years old. 4:16.24 for Georgia Peel. Lauren Proctor the silver, 4:27, and Katie Holt of Staffordshire the bronze.
And Georgia Peel's time just over a second outside the UK senior record, just to put that race and that performance into perspective. Next on track, the intermediate boys 100 metres. The full lineup. Jerome Musa Lewal of Middlesex in lane 1. In 2, Emmanuel Stevens of Essex. Representing Buckinghamshire, Joel Williams goes in 3. In lane 4, David Bolarinwa of London. In 5, it's Omas Anyanwu of West Midlands. London athlete Tunde Judan runs in lane 6. Rhys Noonan of Middlesex in lane 7. And then completing the lineup in lane 8 for Surrey, Andre Gibbs. 54A. There's so many athletes here, almost 2,000 today. The number situation can get quite confusing for the organisers. And incidentally, at this stage, we ought to point out that this is an immaculately organised event, and everyone is an amateur and gives their services for free. Emmanuel Stevens of Essex runs in lane 2. Personal best of 10.99 in the heats. Joel Williams of Buckinghamshire, his best ever 11.08 is in lane 3. Moving along to lane 4, David Bolarinwa of London, who set a PB of 10.97 in the heats. He's got 2 of the big favourites alongside him in the all-red of West Midlands, Omas Anyanwu, best ever 10.94. Tunde Judan of London was the fastest qualifier from the heats in a new best ever time of 10.84. Going in 7, Rhys Noonan of Middlesex, his best 10.97. And then Andre Gibbs of Surrey, 11.03. A big southern London bias, if you like, in the finalists here today. A lot of tension in those young faces as well. The intermediate boys 100 metres, under 17 age group, remember. Once again from the top of the picture, Musa Lewal, Middlesex. Stevens, Essex. Williams, Buckinghamshire. Bolarinwa, London. Anyanwu, West Midlands. Judan, London. Noonan of Middlesex. And Gibbs of Surrey. Watch out in particular here for lanes 5 and 6. Oh, there's a faller, and that's one of the favourites. In fact, Anyanwu is struggling to keep up with Bolarinwa on his inside. He's coming through strongly now though, but Bolarinwa looks as though he's going to take it, and he has, in a time of 10.88. Well, what a dramatic start to that race. And a somewhat unexpected winner, although Bolarinwa did set a personal best of 10.97 in the heats. Judan, the fastest qualifier and one of the big favourites, fell right at the start, and he's determined to complete the course even if he has to walk home, and that's good to see. Too many athletes just walk away in disgust, but I think he's got to walk the final 50 metres to the finish line. And how upsetting for him. A personal best in the heats, quicker than any of the other qualifiers. He must have expected to place at the very least, and now he trudges home disappointedly.
Well, disappointing, an understatement. At least he's not injured. Derek Redmond style. Remember the Olympic Games in Barcelona 1992? Scenes like this when he was carried across the line after a 400 semi-final by his father virtually. But poor Tunde Judan, a tough lesson learnt there. Here it is again. Oh, just falls out of the blocks in lane 6 there. Can only watch the rest of the field disappear down the track. Great racing nonetheless. The winning time 10.88 unofficially, and it was tight too at the line. Look, in lane 4 they're coming through. David Bolarinwa from Anyanwu right beside him, and there's that stumble. Oh my word, he's probably done that 10,000 times in training without stumbling. Today, in the most important race of his young life, it all goes wrong.
Well, it just shows you in sport you can count on absolutely nothing. He would have expected to medal. He was nowhere near and walked home. Bolarinwa was the winner. Here he is with Mark.
Well, David, there was so much drama at the beginning of the race. You won't have known that. What was your focus?
Just to get out of the box as fast as possible. Yeah, and just to use my top speed, which is one of my strengths.
So in terms of the overall performance, how do you rate it?
Quite good. I mean, my blocks wasn't as good as before, but I think that during the race I just had to go through my transition and just pull through.
Well, you've won well from the rounds, you've emerged as a champion. What do you take from this experience?
I mean, next year I'll be top of my age group, so I just want to go out there and win again.
Congratulations, good luck.
Well, an impressive run from him there, but an even more impressive run from Georgia Peel, who won the intermediate girls 1500 metres earlier. How good was that run?
Oh, that was a seriously good run. 4:16 probably would have got her into the final of the senior trials at the moment. It stood for 20 years. I mean, you can't underestimate how good that was. I have girls in my own camp that are just doing PBs at the moment at 4:22. This girl's around 16 or 17 years old, so brilliant.
Now, running that quickly at the age of 16, does that guarantee she'll make the transition and be a great senior athlete as well?
No, it absolutely doesn't guarantee that transition. That's the issue that we've had, and that's why I started my own project on Camp with Kelly, to actually retain these girls in the sport. Because you see here natural, raw talent. She must train pretty well, and hats off to her coach, and well done to her coach, of course. But it's now the transition. How does she get from being where she is now to competing again next year, then to go to seniors? And that's where we have a big dropout rate, especially of teenage girls. And I think it's a case of how do you keep that talent in control, as well as move her to the next stage for a brighter future.
Kelly, are you able to look at athletes at this stage and say, absolutely, I can identify which athlete potentially can go all the way into senior athletics, irrespective of whether they're winning here or not?
I'm not sure you can always identify the ones that are actually going to transition, but you can see style of running, you can see natural ability, and you can always grow that. It's what you do after it, because I would believe that you can't be a world-class athlete without all of the other type of education and mentoring and kind of advice, because running fast is one thing, but you don't win all the time. So it's then, how do you pick yourself up? If you're a winner, like she is, what if she loses next time? Has she got the ability to pick herself up and be focused? Now, probably she has, because if you look at her there, strong athlete, looked focused, looked in control throughout the whole race. But I do see other athletes that they've won English schools. A lot of my girls have won English schools, so they were always the best. As soon as you move into the next age group, you start losing when you're with the big girls, and then the mind starts going, and that's the difference between a champion and somebody that was good at a younger age. Fascinating stuff. Talk more later on. Yeah.
Lots more coming up at these Aviva English Schools Track and Field Athletics Championships. Back to the commentary team.
Well, thank you, John. We can confirm the result of that one. David Bolarinwa winning in 10.88 into a slight headwind. Omo Sanyanwu of West Midlands 10.96, and Joel Williams, the bronze medal, just outside 11 seconds. Well, you can see the athletes down at the far end of the arena there. It's the senior girls 100 metres now. The UK record held by one Kathy Cook, who 30 years ago ran 11.27. She went on, of course, to take an Olympic medal at 400 metres in 1984. Here's the start list, the 8 finalists. Shauna Lawton of Warwickshire goes in 1, Bunmi Awokoya of Hertfordshire in lane 2, then Loretta Curtis of Derbyshire in 3, Ruth Dean of Avon in 4, Angelica Brown of Middlesex in 5, and then in lane 6, Buckinghamshire's Clarice Underwood, London's Jade Phillips in 7, and Kirsty Shepherd of Essex in lane 8. Wearing 81, Shauna Lawton. In her heat to last year, she set a personal best at these championships, 12.30, 12.53 yesterday in qualifying. Bunmi Awokoya, a personal best of 12.24 earlier on this year, 12.50 in her heat, she goes in 2. Then Loretta Curtis of Derbyshire goes in lane 3, the fastest in qualifying with 12.10, and her personal best 12.07. She's very quick, this young lady. Ruth Dean goes in lane 4. She wears number 1, the Avon athlete. Her personal best was 2 years ago, 12.32. That's surely due for revision. In lane 5, wearing 53, Angelica Brown of Middlesex, 12.37, a new personal best in her heat. In good form. Clarice Underwood goes in lane 6. Her personal best last year when winning the English Schools Intermediate Girls title. At 12.31 in her heat here. In lane 7, Jade Phillips of London. She too, a personal best 2 years ago, 12.28. In qualifying here, 12.43. And completing the lineup in lane 8, Kirsty Shepherd of Essex. Very close to her personal best in the heat of 12.42. Well, that men's 100 a few minutes ago run into a slight headwind. But conditions pretty good, I have to say, for Sheffield. I think I've been to this arena quite a few times over the years, and probably 2/3 of the time it's cold and usually wet. Today, it's a glorious July day. Senior girls 100 metres. The favourites, Loretta Curtis goes in 3 for Derbyshire. Clarice Underwood in lane 6 for Buckinghamshire. Well, and that was Bunmi Awakoya of Hertfordshire, I think, over in lane 2. Came up early. The officials will confirm that. I shouldn't really second guess, but it looked fairly clear to me. Right to a picture. Yeah, up she comes. Tries to grab a few inches before the rest of them. She knows she's up against Loretta Curtis to her right in lane 3, so she's under a bit of pressure.
First false start we've had all day, isn't it?
I think it is, actually.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I was in Portugal 3 or 4 weeks back for those European Team Championships, which is the new model of the European Cup, and they were going to penalise full starts with immediate disqualification, and there weren't any in the entire day.
I wonder why.
Exactly. It's exactly what the TV producers want. Well, it looks like they've given it to lane 1, Shauna Lawton, and it may be that she twitched in the blocks initially and set off Bunmi Awakoya, and of course what we see visually in terms of full starting doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. So the lineup again: Lawton in 1, Awakoya in 2, Curtis 3, Dean 4, Brown 5, Underwood 6, Phillips 7, Kirsty Shepherd in lane 8. Senior girls 100 metres final. Well, there was another full start there, and a very, very early one indeed. Dear oh dear. Discipline gone right out of the window there.
I thought it was Awakoya this time.
I'm not sure that it wasn't a similar scenario. Did Loretta Curtis there in red, the favourite? Twitch, yeah, there's a little twitch in Curtis in the blue bottoms and red top, which might have set Awakoya away early. So we're competing here under the old full start rules, not the rule that would insist on the second transgressor to be disqualified, thankfully, and the beneficiary of that is Awakoya of Hertfordshire. So for the third time of asking then, these athletes coming under starters' orders. The lineup once again: Shauna Lawton of Warwickshire in 1, Bunmi Awakoya of Hertfordshire in 2, then Loretta Curtis of Derbyshire. Fastest in qualifying goes in lane 3 in the red top. Ruth Dean of Avon goes in lane 4. Angelica Brown of Middlesex lane 5. Clarice Underwood of Buckinghamshire in 6. She's a favourite too, watch her. Jade Phillips of London in 7. And Kirsty Shepherd of Essex on the near side in lane 8. Oh dear, oh dear.
It's London buses, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, exactly. We've had a wonderful day in the sprint so far, but that's Ruth Dean of Avon in the blue coming up early, very early again. And it'll be a fourth time of asking they'll be called back, but they'll have to experience this in years to come in major championships at senior level. It's something that they will become used to. And that really is what the English school is all about. Kelly Holmes was saying earlier how some of the routines you go through at these championships are not dissimilar to major championships like the Europeans or the Worlds or the Commonwealth Games, and great experience for these youngsters.
Incidentally, I don't know if you noticed, Tim, Jade Phillips in lane 7 not using starting blocks. How unusual is that these days?
Well, she's the only athlete in the field to not use blocks. You do have to question it, I must say. But for the fourth time of asking, the senior girls 100 metres, the favourites Loretta Curtis in 3, Clarice Underwood in lane 6. At last they get away. The fourth time of asking. Great start there from Clarence Underwood in lane 6 in the white top. Underwood leading at the moment, but here comes Curtis in red. Curtis over in lane 3, steaming through the second half. She's going to win this one by 1.5 metres and going away. In second place there, Clarence Underwood, and Angelica Brown of Middlesex in lane 5, taking the bronze medal. And look at the time, 12.04 there. It's faster than she ran in qualifying, and indeed it's a new personal best if confirmed by 3/100ths of a second. The best start, no doubt, Alan. Clarence Underwood in lane 6th in the white top, third from left.
But Curtis did really well because all the distractions were on her section of the track, weren't they? 2 of the 3 false starts involved athletes around her, so she did well to focus and concentrate hard. Despite all that, as you rightly said, Clarence Underwood there, left-hand side of the picture, running in lane 6, made a terrific start, but Curtis really stamped her authority on the second part of the race where it mattered.
Well, the time confirmed is 12.04 for the Derbyshire athlete, replacing a previous personal best of 12.07. Very classy running indeed, and as you say, in circumstances that were far from ideal. That was the 4th time of asking when they loaded themselves into the blocks.
Senior boys 100 metres final is coming up next, and here is the lineup. Richard Morrissey of Gloucestershire, Oliver Back of Merseyside runs in lane 2, Anto Walters of Hertfordshire in lane 3, Elijah Skirvin, Nottinghamshire in lane 4, Surrey's Kyle Carty in lane 5, DJ Tobias of Bedfordshire, perhaps the favourite, I'm sure he will be, in lane 6. In lane 7, it's Oweka Wanago of Middlesex, and in lane 8, Alex Ojo of Middlesex again. I'm sure they'll be getting their blocks absolutely lined up after all the problems in the previous race. 29 is Richard Morrissey of Gloucestershire, who set a personal best of 10.87 in the heats. Wearing number 51, just going back to the starting position. Oliver Back of Merseyside, another who ran a lifetime best, 10.88 in his case. The Merseyside athlete runs in lane 2. In the orange vest of Hertfordshire, this is Anto Walters, 10.70, the quickest he's ever gone for this event. Elijah Skirvin set 10.79, his best ever, running in the heats yesterday. Surrey's Kyle Carty wears number 77 and runs in lane 5. He's yet to break 11 seconds. But Tobias here tops the rankings for the United Kingdom in the under-20s age group. He was the fastest qualifier with 10.52. He's very much the fastest in the field as well, with a personal best of 10.43. Wanogo of Middlesex, another outside 11 seconds still, outside 10 seconds I should say. He's in lane 7, and in lane 8 Ojo of Middlesex, who has run below 11 seconds, 10.86. Middlesex with a strong tradition in the sprints, as with the London area in fact. So one of the main races of the day, the senior boys 100 metres. After all those false starts, they're in a hurry to get back on schedule, because this is a military style operation, the English Schools Championships, and they get very upset with themselves if they fall even 30 seconds behind schedule. Morrissey, Gloucestershire, Back, Merseyside, Walters, Hertfordshire, Skirvin, Nottinghamshire, Carty of Surrey, Tobias, lane 6 for Bedfordshire, Onogo, Middlesex, Ojo, Middlesex, and there was a delayed recall there.
Well, that was a slow recall, wasn't it? And as you say, that'll get the hackles up on one or two English Schools officials. It's been going wonderfully. I think second to left there, maybe. Wanogo of Middlesex just rising early. It wasn't obvious, and it was a late recall. But back they come. Let's hope we're not going to see 3 more, as in the women's race just a few minutes ago.
Just waiting to see where the marker is put on the lane number, but I'm pretty sure it was Aweka Wanogo. I think I'm right in saying, Tim, when you get to the senior level and the big championship, the blocks are electronically linked to all the sort of starters' equipment and so forth, so you can tell instantly who has caused the false start.
No, that's exactly right, and that's why you get so many arguments, because the starter gets a beep in his ear, he fires his second gun, and then the electronic equipment shows him who has full started. He doesn't even have to make a judgment. It's a visual piece of paper comes out with a full start on it, and that's when you get the athletes arguing, because the tiniest twitch can set the equipment off and cause a full start.
Back to basics for the English schools, though, and as we saw in the previous race, some athletes don't even use blocks. Let's remind you of the lineup again. From the top of the picture, Morrissey, Gloucestershire, back of Merseyside, Walters, Hertfordshire, Skirvin, Nottinghamshire, Carty, Surrey, Tobias, Bedfordshire, Wanogo, Middlesex, Ojo, Middlesex. And away this time, although he almost fell out of the box. Tobias has made a good start. Carty of Surrey going well on his inside. Tobias has got some work to do here, but here he comes now, and the class competitor in the field has won it from Carty, I think, taking second place. DJ Tobias, as he calls himself, the man who tops the United Kingdom rankings for this age group, has confirmed his status with an impressive win in 10.64 seconds. We'll have confirmation of that result later in one of the most eagerly anticipated events of the day. Stay with us for further coverage of the English Schools Championships right here in Sheffield.
Vegas to Blackpool, darts is rocking.
Alrighty, what entertainment! Brilliant!
Live from the Winter Gardens,
They know how to throw a party here!
the Stan James World Match Play, coming soon, Sky Sports 1 and HD1.
For the music fan in all of us, the Sunday Times presents the previously unreleased CD, The Specials, live at Brixton. Get your free 12-track CD and read our exclusive interview with The Specials only in the Sunday Times this weekend. The Sunday Times, for all you are.
Our 7-year warranty makes every Kia Ceed future-proof.
Some memories are just too precious to lose. That's why we've created the world's lightest Full HD camcorders with touchscreen focus tracking, helping you preserve